at the rookies. My apologies. I was briefly looking at Trench Crusade. That's a game I'd like to try at some point. So again, today we'll be looking at the rookies. This time, part 3. And why was it doing that? One of the issues I have with this system. As stated, we are live. We have I'm going to try and get the system to work. I don't know why it's acting up. We're going to test something real quick and see if that pops up, and it does not. Okay, that's not good. So, last time we updated, I was not in a burning building. Yeah, well, such things happen. Oh, it is working! It is working! Okay, so, I apologize about that. I was trying to get the, what are they called? The chat log to work. And this time, I was able to get it to work because yay to Streamlabs. Wait. Are you currently in a... Wait, Renamon 565, are you currently in a burning building? Because if you are, I would recommend getting out now. You good, man? Because there are more important things than me looking at Digimon. Like if you're in if you're in a burning building, I would recommend get out now. But it's up to you, my guy. I would advise, unless I'm misreading that. I'm probably misreading that. But anyway, so we might as well go over some quick little status things of what's going on. So last year we had a pretty good run. We've made it up to 316 subscribers as of late. Pretty cool, pretty good. Hopefully we can get 500 by the end of this year. Who knows? Am I coming out all good? Let me adjust this real quick. No, I'm at a motel. December 31st, my apartment caught fire. Ooh. Oh, wow, that's not good. That is... the best I can say is, stay safe. I might as well say this. Given that we have winter coming up, if you have any space heaters, please make sure that they are well away from anything that can catch fire. Those things can catch, space heaters can cause fire if you don't know what you're doing. If I remember correctly, you're not supposed to connect them to power bricks. You're supposed to actually plug it in directly into the wall. I could be wrong on that. Check with the device itself. These things vary from device to device. If you have an AC unit, make sure to change out the filter when you can. This will depend on where you're living. Filters do occasionally go out. Make sure you have a smoke detector. I know they call the chirps will hear. They seem to keep on going forever. Make sure to change your smoke detectors. Those are very important, and they're there for a reason. Standard fire policy. But man, I did not know. I hate to be that guy, but I'll say thoughts and prayers. There's not much I can suggest. Oh man. Hopefully you'll be able to find a home soon. But yeah, back to the news update. We're starting. I've started recording for the End War review. That's probably going to be the next review that I'm going to do. I don't know at which point that's going to come out. We're still recording that, and probably after this I'll do more recording on it. Other updates. I don't know how often I'll be doing game reviews moving forward. It's probably just going to be anime reviews with the occasional game review, as I find that tends to get me more views and more subscriptions. So that's kind of the direction I'm heading with this. Other than that, this seems to be the big draw for my channel as of late. So we're going to keep doing these Digimon analysis videos. We're going to get the thing out. As for other plans, if there's any suggestions that you have for shows or games that I should review, you can post into the chat log or into the chat when this goes live. I do want to apologize if you haven't been able to see the live chat isn't up. There were some issues at the end that I wasn't able to edit, so unfortunately you just have the edited video as opposed to the live log. So outside of that, standard rules of here. I will go over a Digimon. While I'm going over it, you can post your comments into the chat log or into the chat. After I give my final opinion, we'll have like 30 seconds to kind of dwell on that, catch our breath, move forward. We still have quite a ways to go. I'm hoping we can get to Renamon this session, but that's hard to say because, yeah. So, without further ado, and I'll keep an eye on the chat thing, my chat box, because I do want the chats to be recorded for posterity. So we're going to move forward with the next Digimon, Ghostmon. Anything with this that I find. So, one other thing I forgot to mention. Whenever I go over a Digimon, I have to say one thing I like about the design and one thing I dislike about the design. And I can't be vague and say, oh, this clearly looks like a Digimon, or oh, hey, this doesn't feel like a Digimon. I have to give an explanation as to why. So I can't be too vague. There are a few Digimon that I will list as a perfect, and at some point I will need to make a actual list of what those designs are. So, moving forward, let's go over Ghostmon. So, right off the bat with Ghostmon, I appreciate that it's not just a bed ghost, which I believe is one of the other Digimon. I believe it's a champion. I forgot its name. I appreciate the hat is very much witch or wizard-like, and I believe in some evolutions Ghostmon does become Wizardmon. I could be wrong. Neat scarecrow smiley face. Pretty alright. I think what I like about this design in particular, it's not too simple. It's not a bedsheet ghost, which would have been incredibly easy to go ahead with. They actually went, let's make this different. Let's make this more like a Halloween being. They went very much with the fire design, which I believe is supposed to be a pseudo-reference to Will-O-Wisps, but I could be wrong with that. The hat is an interesting touch. The collar is a weird addition to the design. Usually you don't see a lot of fur collars, so that's an interesting idea to add as a ghost. Things I don't like with the design. I don't think I like the little horns up here. I feel that they add an unnecessary greeble or unnecessary design element to the Digimon. I understand they're kind of supposed to be like, well, almost like ears or like eyebrows, but I don't think, given that you have the hat on this, I don't think you need the eyebrows. If the hat was not there, I can see this work, and visually I can see the head without the hat. But with the hat, I would almost suggest either remove the fires or add it at the side as like a feather. Otherwise, it's almost a perfect design. It's almost perfect in my opinion, but it actually kind of reminds me of Caramon, which is interesting. Otherwise, it's an okay design. It's a different from a standard ghost. But other than that, yeah. So, thoughts? And that's the 30 seconds. Let's head on to the next Digimon. Gizamon. Sea animal, suited for underwater land. So, Gizamon. I believe Gizamon is one of the earlier Digimons that came out. You can kind of see it in the design. We're going off of a sea animal, so it's a lot like Betamon, I believe. They're going off of the similar dinosaur with the fins. Have you played the game Okami? No, I have not. I have it on Steam, and my brother has a copy on the Wii, but I haven't played it. That was one of the games that I didn't have too much interest in when it came on PS2. Then again, I got the PS2 fairly late. But I do have it on Steam, and at some point, is that a game you're suggesting that I try out? I have been thinking about trying to learn Japanese, so that could be a way to go at it. Is the chat box not working? Yes, I did hear about the sequel. I did hear about the sequel that Capcom is doing, which honestly is kind of wild. Maybe it's best I move this so that we have more of a dark screen. Let's try that, so that we can actually see the chat a little better, but we still can see the Digimon. But yes, I did hear that Bandai is doing a sequel. I heard about that. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. I don't know where they're going to go with it. We're probably going to see it's for Switch. They're going to be doing a lot with the movement controls, because I know the ink pen was a major game mechanic. But we will see. That being said, there was a pseudo sequel on the DS. Oh, hi V Scorpio. Which I'm actually surprised they have not done a remaster, a re-release of. But okay, now hold on. Oh, you know what? We're just going to do that. That should be fine. But yeah, I am a bit surprised that there is no... I'm just kind of surprised they haven't done a re-release of the DS game. But anyway, back to Gizamon. Things I like about the design, things I like and things I dislike. For one, I like that this... What I kind of like about the design is... Good news, I'm going to move into department very soon. Excellent! That's good to hear. Things about Gizamon that I like and things I dislike. I think the issue I have with this I don't like this design. And I think part of that issue is it's very cluttered. And I know it says sea animal. It doesn't read sea animal. It honestly reads more like a fire dog. It feels a lot like a 5-year-old made a dinosaur and thought this looks awesome, which is within the lines of Digimon, but I think this was a bit too much. This feels like it's one of those prototypes that someone made and didn't really think it through. Now, that being said, it does remind me a lot of Japanese woodcut of some yokai and monsters. So I'll give it that. I can see that with... Well, I assume this is fur, but it could also be scales. But I think this clashes a lot with the spikes. Overall, I think it's too complicated as a design. I think if I were to fix this design, I would remove these spikes and just have this. No spikes, just the yellow and the red. That way it reads more like a koi fish that got on land and decided to evolve into other things. With the spikes, it's complicating the design way too much. But other than that, it's a fine design, but like I said, very woodcut, very yokai-esque, but I do think the spikes need to be omitted, and I think it would make the design flow a little better. As I said, thoughts? And we'll be moving on to the next Digimon. So, Gizmo. So, if we get a new anime, what Digimon rookie would you want to be as part of the main cast? Without being like a new Digimon as the main cast, if what you'd say, and I'm not going to go Doromon because I love Doromon. I think the design I would like to see on the main cast that is from here. I was just looking at the different designs. I would almost want to see what you would do with Huckmon. If only because Huckmon's, like, the whole main story of Huckmon is becoming a royal knight and a leader. A hero. And I think that would fit very well with a primary character, or even as a secondary character that rivals the main character. Because right now, about the only Huckmon depiction we have is Try, I believe, and they play that off more as a veteran rather than a rookie. I think that's one. I have a lot of issues with. I have a lot of suggestions and opinions on Try, but that's not for here. But yeah, I would say Huckmon. Other than that, Doromon, because I like Doromon. The other would probably be Solomon. because Solomon doesn't get a lot of love. A lot of, ever since Gatomon, Solomon is just kind of thrown to the wastebasket. Hackman final is named after the guy who died for our sins. Not exactly, although this I need to get some clarification on because I could be wrong on this. My understanding is Jesmon is not named after Jesus. I believe he's just named. It's an acronym, but I do believe the creators did state that it does work, but I could be wrong. That's probably something we'd have to get to when I hit to Jesmon. What Digimon would fit right in a pure horror anime? I mean, I look at Goblimon, but let's go back before we head to Goblimon. Pure horror. Ooh, that's a good question. We're just going to go off of the rookie ones before we get to the rest. No, we can actually go through all of them pretty fast. I guess I would say Goblimon. If only because you can play him off as sort of a impish character without going full Impmon. Now bear in mind, that's just the rookies. There are better horror Digimon. Actually, no, not Goblimon. There is one other, and I can't believe I forgot about him. I can't believe I forgot about them. Dracmon. I think Dracmon would work well in a pure horror anime. Just from the eyes on the hands. Just the whole design element. But going back to the analysis, Goblimon, yeah, he looks like a goblin. I think that's a neat idea. He reminds me a lot of the early 40k orcs, which, all you need to do is put like a slugga or a shooter in his right hand, and boom, you have a gun. Have you heard about Digital Monsters Net Driver? I have. I've considered playing it, but given that it's fairly limited at the moment, I already play. There was another game that came out, fan game. We're not going to be talking a lot about Digimon this session, are we? Huh. Digital Tamers 02. I've heard about it. I thought about getting it, but I'm going to hold off to see how far they're going to go with the lines, because it looks like it's just an recreation of the original V-Pet. Goblimon, like I said, I like that he looks a lot like an orc from 40k. Just give a Shuda or a Slugga in the other hand. Things which I like. The Mohawk. He looks out of a fantasy game. What I don't like... What do I dislike? I guess maybe the club. That doesn't feel very goblin-esque. Especially since Ogremon is next. I think this is... Honestly, I think Goblimon may be one of the perfect designs. Because... I think it works. Check Shaman. We will get to Shamanmon. That will be a bit of a thing. But Goblimon, not much of a bit. I don't have much issues with it. I think my only issue may be the club. And read his profile. We'll get to him. Don't worry. Don't worry. We will get to to Shamanmon. Arukenimon, mainly the one from Ghost Game, can work in any horror anime. Impa, that was Mischief. I think if I were to change anything with Goblimon, maybe change the club into a cleaver. But that's going into the orc aesthetic. And really, I don't have much problem with it. I think the only issue might be, it's just a generic goblin. But even then, that's not really a debate. I think the best would be to maybe hold off the club until Ogremon. That may be my design element. Other than that, I would say this is one of the another one of the perfect Digimon. I think this is the first one of this session. So, I guess we'll give it 30 seconds. And we've gone through the 30 seconds. Don't worry. When we get to Shamanmon, we will read his bio, because it sounds like there's something there I need to see. Gomamon. So, right off the bat, one of the things I want to say is co-op Digimon. One of the things I want to say that rather surprises me, there is no Gomamon Black or any Dark Gomamon. It's just Gomamon, which either means he's that, nice as a Digimon, or his popularity hasn't hit there. But I don't know. As a kid, Gomamon just kind of existed, and I didn't think much. Later on, when I watched the anime, I actually quite liked Gomamon's, he and Joe's working relationship. It was pretty good. And watching Try, I think they did a good job with Gomamon working with Joe. As for designs, things I like that they went the direction of this is a seal, but they didn't just make a random seal. They actually added things. They added in little purple elements. They added in, not necessarily every black Digimon needs to be bad. That is true. That is true. Not all virus Digimon are bad. Not all not all black Digimon are bad, which is a weird thing to say. I'll see it here, but you know what I mean. Usually whenever it says Agumon Black or Guilmon Black, they're usually depicted as a virus. Things I like about the design, again, it's a seal. They added in a few things. They added in kabuki makeup, which is pretty indicative of Japanese shows. That's a very common thing to do. I think it works well. The red hair, I think, works with the design, adding some coolness to it. This is probably a design I'm going to say is one of the perfect designs. As for things I dislike, I kind of dislike that the ears are just floppy strands, which, to be fair to Digimon, was a common design element of the time. I don't think Gomamon was one of the first Digimon. And the reason I say that... No, actually, I think he was. Gomamon confuses me because I don't believe he's in World 1. And World 1 is basically a recreation of the V-Pet with some other things. And I don't think Gomamon is in that game, which is usually an indication that they weren't part of the design. Let me quickly check that up real quick. I guess that's another issue. To be fair to Digimon... Nope, you are right. Oh, okay. To be fair to Digimon, the veins was a very common design element they did with a lot of the Digimon. Most of the early Digimon had these weird vein elements, and I think it was supposed to be a agreeable effect. Something that just quickly add something to a design to make it look muscular. Gomamon was in Digimon Rumble Arena too. That is correct. And was he in... He was in Rumble Arena as well, because I remember Joe being in that game. Which is weird because not all of the cast was in that game. He is from 1998, which predates the anime but doesn't predate the toy. So he isn't one of the originals, but he is early enough that he basically is in the same design element. But yet, if you ever look at early Digimon, the veins on the muscles and around, that was indicative of the early designs. And I think that's sort of a reference to to American cartoons of the time when you had these big muscled up characters. Remember, Digimon was intended to be a toy for boys because Tamagotchis sold very well and went for everyone. But they noticed that girls really liked the toy while boys were just, it's a toy. So they wanted to make the designs awesome and cool. And I think I remember reading somewhere one of the things they did was they took the designs of they'd come up with a preliminary design and they would beef things up. Like they would make the feet bigger, or they'd give it more muscles, make it something that seemed very manly and testosterone fueled. Don't quote me on that because I may be misremembering the design element. And I do believe in the original anime the veins on the arms were omitted. Other than that, I'm going to give this the perfect designation. This is, again, perfect designation for a perfect little Digimon, perfect boy. Agu, Gabu, Piomon, Patamon, Palmon debuted in 1997. So those are the OGs. For this design, like I said, I like that it's a seal, but they didn't just make a seal. They actually added things like the kabuki paint and coloring. I don't like the ears. That's not really a critique, honestly, given the design elements of the time. Yeah, it's a design I like. So again, another perfect. So we're going to give another 30 seconds. And that was the 30 seconds. Special attack is Marching Fishes. That is true, and I think someone commented Marching Fishes didn't really destroy anything until Try. It is what it is. So, Gomamon X Antibody. This one came out a few years later. Let's see. Charming personalities increase life, not express few gamut. This is only best. It is difficult to raise for enjoyment. Shocking amount of strength. Move in tandem with the humongous Daipenmon. Okay, I didn't know that it worked with Daipenmon. To be a subordinate, Gomamon has been thought to boast a rarely seen known as Goma Milk Death. In reality, that is interesting, and I'm surprised they don't add that. They don't do that with Daipenmon. That's something I did not realize. So things with Gomamon, with the X Antibody variant, they did a good job about making the design simple. They really played up the floof element of Gomamon. Honestly, they did a good job of. They basically took what I thought with Gomamon and changed it. Removing the veins in the ear. That's fine. I think I like that it looks like a fluffy little thing. Things I dislike. I think the red chest hair is a bit much. I think you would do better without the chest hair. Or at the very least, do what they do in Sonic, with Shadow, where you just have the V chest hair. Yeah, normally the X form exaggerates the digis, and this didn't. This is actually a simplification, which is very unusual for X antibody designs. I do think they needed to keep the Kabuki face paint, which they didn't. They omitted. This design, normally with X antibodies, I suggest they add a X on it. I still think they should add an X, maybe somewhere on the ears. Maybe as like a chest thing. I don't like this chest. It almost makes me want to think what they should do. And for anyone who knows anything about Eden and Eddie, you would remember the Dicky. Dicky? They still make these? And given this Digimon's connection to Daipenmon, I would almost suggest, rather than having this red furry tuft, either make it like just a red, like a tuft of fur similar to Shadow, or add this making it look like a tuxedo front, like a Dicky. As is, it just kind of reads like like Gomamon has a bib, and I feel that is given the design, I don't think that's the right direction to go. This almost feels like a in training form for Gomamon. But yeah, so things I like that it's simpler. I like that they remove some weird elements. I don't like that they omitted the Kabuki. I dislike that I think they should add some X, and I don't like the bib. Other than that, cute little guy. So, 30 seconds. And we're moving on to the next Digimon. Gatsumon. Gatsumon, I know, has a lot of fans in the community, at least from what I've seen. We have another Digimon. This one, I know... This one isn't one of the first, but it was one of the early Digimon. And I know that because of Frontier and... Oh, what was that? I think Gatsumon was in 02. I think he may have been in the original, but I could be wrong. He rocks. Yes, he does. Things about the design I like. I like that the head, they added in the little ear things, little horn things, to make it that it's not just a rock person, that they actually added something. I think they took the idea of a rock monster and made it its own thing. What I don't like about the design, yeah, he debated with Gomon. Okay, so he's one of the early ones, but he's not the first. Things I dislike. Gatsumon and Pumpkinmon got killed by... Thank you, I forgot about that. Interestingly enough, I believe Gatsumon makes a reappearance in Try. And I think in Frontiers he gets referenced at some point, but I could be wrong. Things about this design I like and dislike. I think it's weird because on one hand it's simple enough that you can read what it is. It's a rock thing. But I think it's a little but I think I don't know. it's weird. It's like it's simple enough that you can read what it is, but it's complex enough that it's maybe a bit much. Uh is it a perfect design though? That's the question. I think I'm going to give Gatsumon the perfect designation because I really can't find much fault with it. It seems like a fairly decent design. It's simple enough that you can read what it is, but it's not too complicated. If it is complex, it works in the right manner. Things I would probably change, maybe not have the feet be rocks, maybe not have the pseudo anatomically correct feet, but other than that, I certainly wouldn't want it as my partner. You know, you say that I have some friends that that like Gatsumon, and interestingly enough, in Digi Destiny, Gatsumon is a fairly important character. If I had a complaint with Gatsumon, it's his evolutions, but we'll get to those when we get to them. Other than that, I think my only real complaint is, I guess the feet. I think I wouldn't have done the pseudo anatomically correct feet with the toes. I think I would just made it like a boulder. Hey, at XU, you don't decide your part. It depends. You never know. But yeah, neat design. We're going to say it's one of the perfects. Yeah. Thoughts? And that was 30 seconds. So, Gatsumon. Gatsumon X antibody. And here we have another one of the X antibodies. This design, they really went the direction of sumo wrestler. Right from the back, one of the things I like that it's easy to read that it's a sumo wrestler. They really, they made it easy that, these are the hands, these are the feet, all that. And that's fine. What I don't like is I don't think this feels like a rookie. Is there a paper and scissors Digimon? I don't think so. At the very least, not on the rookies. There may be an Appmon, but I don't know about the rookies. My problem with this design, it doesn't feel like a rookie. It feels more like a champion level. Because if you're going to go the route of sumo wrestler, which is what I think they're trying to do here, you kind of want a larger Digimon. And at that size, you might as well make it a champion. As a rookie, I don't really see this working as a rookie Digimon. I know I complained earlier about the anatomically correct feet. I think given that, this is a sumo wrestler, this works. The feet work. I do think the forward and back horns are maybe a bit too much. But other than that, it's an okay design for a champion. It doesn't really work as a rookie, in my opinion. And for that reason, I can't say that it's a good design. As a champion, it works. Same logic applies with Gatomon. Gatomon is weird because we'll probably get to Gatomon. Gatomon works a lot like a rookie, not really as a champion, especially since they don't use Salamon. I think Salamon only appears in the original show once. But Gatsumon, given Gatsumon's evolutions, which are just Gatsumon bigger, this should have been Gatsumon's champion form. As an X antibody, I mean, add an X antibody crack somewhere on the design. I think if I were to do a Gatsumon X antibody, take the standard Gatsumon, but maybe make one of the arms bigger with like a X symbol on it. But as a sumo wrestler, that's an okay design, that's an okay concept. I think it would have worked better as a champion. Um, this is not a rookie. This is a champion. I like the concept, but not as a rookie. So, thoughts? Okay, so that was technically 35 seconds, but yeah. I think one of the things I said that I would do with the Digimon is say what I would add or change. So, Guillemon. Now this is an interesting what the profile said. That's right. Let's go back and see what the profile says. Once I go back. Let's hold off on Guillemon. Gatsumon X antibody. Justice League members. Let's see. Has improved, given a thicker body, high defense. Naturally, the those who Gatsumon have. So basically, all they say is he's gotten bigger. Wow, they didn't even. All they say he's gotten bigger. That's all he said. That is. Young Justice League. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really watch Young Justice. I watched a lot of the DC AU Justice League. So, unfortunately, wow, yeah, that was. In my defense, Warner Brothers did mess up Young Justice. In my defense, they did throw it under the bus. So, we're actually going to give that 30 seconds for y'all to comment about why I didn't see Young Justice. And yeah, that's that may be something I need to review. Time? Well, currently it's why I didn't watch Young Justice. Yeah, at the time I came out, I was still in school, and you have to understand a lot. In my family, we could watch television, but because of I think it was something my mom had read or something. No television on school days. So yeah, unfortunately, I did not watch Young Justice. So if it wasn't on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I couldn't watch it. And this isn't finish homework and then watch it. No, it was just no television. There were some exceptions, but really no television. And even by the time I started watching television whenever, I think Young Justice was off the air. So, yeah, at some point I need to do a Q&A over my life. But that may be for another time. A story for another time. Going into Guillemon, Guilmon obviously was made for tamers, Digimon tamers. The story behind Guilmon, at least in the anime, Takato looked at Agumon and said, let's make Agumon but cooler. Which, to be fair, is within the realm of what kids would do. Damage, still if you forsake the bees. Yeah, that's interesting. So they're saying Guilmon is a inherently violent. Oh no, it's saying it possesses, it's not saying it is. Things I like about the design, about Guilmon. I like that it's fairly basic as a dinosaur. No, it's more like a dinosaur. But they still added in the little wings to go, oh yeah, it's a dragon. And normally I would say that's a bit excessive and maybe say put it on the back. But given that the ears, it's supposed to represent ears, I think it works. It's a very good concept. I like the little bit of markings on it. I will say this artwork of Guilmon doesn't give the design justice. I think what are they called? The anime's art direction of Guilmon does a much better job. Hopefully, yes. Hopefully I will get to Renamon. Yeah, but the third from Tamers. I liked Tamers. So what I like about I think what I like about Guilmon is it's not just let's take a Velociraptor and just say it's a Digimon. They took it and said, let's add some little things like little ear things. Let's add some markings. They complicated a fairly simple design and they made it work. What I would probably change, one thing I will say, going back to the Data Squad Agumon, where they add the Vambraces to the hands, I'm wondering if for that version that was a semi-reference to Guilmon. Because Guilmon has markings on his hands that look like Vambraces. I could be wrong. I think if I were to change or make the design different, I guess maybe the shoulder markings. That's about it. I would almost argue this is a perfect design. Like, this is like maybe too perfect. They did, any complaints I have with this is probably just this artwork, because I think the Tamer's depiction of Guilmon works way better than what they're showing here. And honestly, I think Tamer's Guilmon, they did such a good job characterizing that Digimon that any future installments of Digimon, you kind of have to go off of that. As for the artwork and design, they nailed it. It's perfect. The only thing I would remove, and that's just because I need to say something I dislike, are the shoulder markings, and that's it, really. There's a reason when I was a kid, Guilmon was one of my favorite Digimon. There's a reason why when I thought about, if I'm going to do a paintball team, I want to get Guilmon, make them green, and put a paintball marker. Real thing. That was something I thought about doing, but when you're 8 years old, you think about doing a lot of things. Or was I 10? I don't remember. It's such a good design, and I can't think of anything to really suggest to change it. Guilmon gets another perfect. 30 seconds. Thoughts, opinions? One thing I will say, I know Guilmon is fairly large for a rookie. I know Guillomon's fairly large for a rookie, but I think it works, especially given to how they work in the story. Is Guillomon the first virus type to be one of the main characters? Not counting evolutions, because people tend to forget Greymon. Greymon is a virus, if I'm correct. I think Guillomon is. Hold on, is Wormmon? I think Wormmon is a virus type. I think Wormmon is a virus type. No, they're saying Wormmon is virus vaccine free. None. Okay, so they don't even know what they're doing. For the purpose of this, I will say Guillomon is the first, not counting evolutions. Which, yeah. Again, perfect design. Very little to say I would change. They make it work in the story. They make it work in concept. Great design. We'll give it the 30 seconds. So that is the 30 seconds. And so we will be going into the next design. What a nice dog. Yeah. Guillomon X antibody. We'll do a quick thing of the changes. The digital hazard mark has disappeared from Guillomon X antibody. This is because it has accepted and contained that power within its small body, yet while it has yet to awaken that power, its talent for maturing into a true guardian of the digital world will improve if it is raised the right way. It is vital. More aggressive personality anyway. Man, which is... So... Things I like. On one hand, I like that they leaned more towards the dragon aesthetic. Guillomon's head is more draconic rather than more dinosaur-esque. They still have the markings. They actually removed the markings on the feet and the digital hazard sign. What I don't like, you removed the digital hazard sign. You made this a more dangerous Digimon, but you removed the sign that says, hey, danger. I think that's a bad omission. Or if you're going to remove the symbol, replace it with maybe the X antibody symbol. Now again, put the X antibody or at an X somewhere on the design. If I were to change this design, I would put the danger mark back on the chest, because again, you write the lore that it's more dangerous, it's accepted it, but then you're like, oh, we're going to remove it. If anything, I would say put that symbol back on. As for the artwork, I do like this artwork of Guillomon X antibody. Gives that depiction of a dangerous velociraptor. But you really need that X. I think you need that digital hazard symbol. I think that was a bad call. You also didn't really do much to change Guillomon. It's still Guillomon. You just took Guillomon and removed the digital hazard symbol. And that doesn't really warrant an X antibody. This... I'm looking at this, I'm kind of wondering if the original... If what they did was, well, what if we took Takado's design and just read it normally, without the hazard symbol? And I think that was a mistake. I think the removal of the hazard symbol was a mistake. So I like that they made it more Velociraptor. I dislike that they removed the digital hazard symbol. Thoughts. Oh, and you didn't put an X antibody or an X on the design. Thoughts. Read the profile. The digital hazard mark has disappeared from Guillemot X antibody. This is because it has accepted and contained that power within its small body. While it has yet to awaken to that power, its talent for maturing into the true guardian of the digital world will improve if it is raised the right way. Its viral instincts have grown stronger, giving Guillemot X antibody a more aggressive personality and letting it acquire the special move Fire Mitt, which it uses to strike foes with arms wrapped in its fireball technique. Again, it's become more dangerous, and yet you remove the digital hazard symbol. More aggressive personality. I don't know. I think having a hazard symbol would work. That's just me. So and we're going to go to the next Digimon while I also drink some water because my throat is starting to get a little dry, a little parched. Let's all have some water. You don't understand then. No, I understand. It's supposed to saying that it's controlled it and that it doesn't need to warn everyone, hey, this has a dangerous power in it. I think if you're going to, I just think that from a design point, that is not the direction to go with the Digimon. Gumdramon. This is from Cross Wars, which had some unusual designs. Things I like. Purple. I like the purple of it. I like that they made it look a lot like a starter Digimon. It looks like what you would expect a starter Digimon. I do think they may have. I know they didn't take Guillemon as Dorumon as an inspiration, although it does kind of read as Dorumon to me. The purple works. Hold on, let me read this. Tail hammer. Sticks and move like a string. Smoke gives a foot. It has wings? No, it does. It will jump into dangerous distance. It harbors in. Then perform. Gumdramon. One hand, I like the purple. I think the red jacket. I mean, it gives it the idea of punkish, which is all right. The wings are interesting because they kind of remind me of a neckerchief. I don't know how to feel about the tail. I'm not going to say it's a bad design because of the tail. I can't say that because they're trying to do something different. Me personally, I think that's a bit of a weird thing, but I'm not going to give it a bad design element. I think what I dislike about the design. Ooh. Hmm. Gumdramon may be one of the few perfects then. Another perfect. I guess what I would dislike is the red. I think what if they're going to go with a punkish or mischievous vest jacket, go with a darker color. I think the red isn't the right way to go with it, but that's just me. The hammer tail, I can take or leave, but I guess I go, but I guess they wanted, it's something other than a dinosaur. So it's something that, I guess I'll change it and say I don't really like the hammer, but on the other hand, I appreciate they did it something different. They didn't just do, oh, it's a Digimon that looks like a dinosaur. They actually added something to make it a different design. It's not what I would have done, but I appreciate the concept. So, I guess what I'll say is I like the purple. I like the idea that the wings and the goggles are kind of like a neckerchief almost. I guess I don't like the red jacket. This does get the perfect design. I will say I don't like the hammer, but I do appreciate that it changes the tail from just being a standard tail. So I'll give it that. Thoughts? And just to say, I didn't see the season where Gumdramon was in. I saw it when X Cross Wars was known as Fusion in the US on Netflix, which they didn't even go into the later part. Haguramon. Pretty basic. Let's see if there's anything. No sense of cells. I believe this Digimon predates that Pokemon that looks like gears. I believe it does. Pretty interesting concept of gears working together. They also changed up the eye, so it's not two symmetrical eyes. Things I would change. Is Haguramon a perfect? The gears do look like hands and do read like gloved hands, so that's fine. I guess what I would probably want to change is the eyes. Make the eyes more like gears. I don't think the circular eyes works. I think it would have worked better if the eyes were more like gears that turn while it turns, to give the idea that this is a watch or like a mechanical Digimon. As is, it's a pretty good design, and I think it works as a rookie. But I think the eyes needed some more gears to read, this is a mechanical Digimon. So I like that they went with a clockwork mechanic. I don't like that the eyes are not gears. Thoughts? So that was 30 seconds. We're going to go on to the next Digimon. which would be Haguramon X antibody. Haguramon X antibody. Let's see what's changed. Kohaguramon contains even more powerful. Appeared. Still neither have any sense of self. Their soul connection is the fact that they rotate in sync with each other. If they follow the sync code, may fall off and take damage. Gears have transformed into drills, causing. So, this design. This is where we start to see X antibodies really adding in wild things. On the offset, it looks like they just took Haguramon, the basic design, added in extra gear, drills, and smaller, well, they're called Kohaguramons. I like that you've complicated the design a little. You didn't go too overboard, but just barely. I think the addition of the extra gears was a good call. What I don't like, I think actually, no, I'm okay with the drills. I'm okay with the drills as it really adds like hands. I don't think the smaller Haguramon were necessary. I think this would work better if, I think you would either omit the eyes on the Kohaguramons or make them just standard gears. Remove the eyes or just omit them together. I don't think these two are necessary for the design. Or, maybe put the X symbol on them. As is, it's an okay design. I'm not going to say it's perfect, given X antibody, given some of the complications they give. And the eyes are still not gears. I think it would have worked, again, better if the eyes were not circular, but actual gears. So I like that they added in extra gears. I don't like the Kohaguramon and the fact that the eyes are still not gears. And as for the design, it's the reading of the description. They just said Kohaguramon can be even more powerful. No, their connection is the fact that they rotate in sync. So it's almost like they wanted the Kohaguramon to be their own Digimon. At that point, just make that the in-training type. But I don't think Kohaguramons are the in-training. Hold on. Let me check that real quick. Neat. Yeah, it's an okay design. It's just... I feel like they put more effort into the Kohaguramon. So according to Wikimon, it's saying that it's a Digimon. And the Digimon Wiki... I would almost say make Kohaguramon in training, but don't make them part of Haguramon X. Just keep the Haguramon X with the red gear and the drills, and that's it. You don't need Kohaguramon. At least that's what I would do. But yeah, 30 seconds. And that's our 30. I really hope we can get to Renamon this session. I do like the red part. That was something I liked about Haguramon X. Hawkmon. 2 times. So, things I like about Hawkmon. I like that it looks like a hawk. I know that seems weird. I like that it looks like a bird. It's bird. I like that it's a bird Digimon. You know, hawk-like. It's a hawk. Um, really, I don't have much comments about Hawkmon. You can still see a little bit of the vein thing, although I don't think that was a design element. I think that's just the picture. Things I don't like. I don't like the belt headband. I know it's supposed to hold the one feather up. I get that concept. I would almost say omit the headband. Just say that, oh, that's just a feather that grows. Um, I will say with the feather and the headband, it kind of reminds me of Native American or First Nations depictions, which is the headband with the feather coming out the back. Um, when I did my review of O2, I was a bit confused as to why they gave Hawkmon a British accent. And the closest I could come, the joke I could make was, oh, Tecumseh fought alongside the British during the War of 1812, if I'm correct. And that was just a throwaway joke. I'm sure there's more to that, but I think if I were to change Hawkmon's design, omit this headband. It's unnecessary in my opinion, and just say that the feather coming out of the head is, just a feather that's growing weirdly, and there's precedent for that. Biyomon has a weird. It's not so much a feather, some kind of twirl, and so that can be a sort of a callback to that. Other than that, it reminds me of a Blaziken, of a chicken, which is both could be good, could be bad, not really much of a problem. It does read a lot like a like Blaziken or Delibird, but yeah, the only thing I would really change is that headband. I like it's a bird. It looks like a bird. It looks like a hawk. I don't like the headband. I think that's an unnecessary part of the design. Although I will say, if the line went, this is going to be a bit of a weird thing to bring up. I bring up the Native American connection, the First Nations connection. I don't know how that is in Japan. I don't know if that was the direction if they were going. That's how it reads to me, that what they were trying to do here. But given the evolution of Hawkmon, which doesn't head towards the Thunderbird, but another design here, I think it's, Aquelamon. I'm wondering if at some point they wanted to do something with that, and it didn't. Like I said, I wouldn't do the headband thing. I would either make it that's just a feather growing out of their head that's a reference to Aquelamon, or something. I think the headband is weird. I think it's not something to add to the design. But other than that, it's a perfect design in my opinion. So yeah, 30 seconds. So yeah, moving on to the next Digimon. And my voice is already starting to act weird. Harrismon, mammal. Digimon bring with curiosity. I will say this about Hawkmon. I'm surprised they didn't make any X antibodies of Hawkmon. Harrismon. Bringing focus on what has caught his attention, exclude everything else. Like this. Apparently, it's been bullied 10 seconds when it sees Gatomon. Oh, that's weird. So, I know Harrismon was debuted in that one mobile game, which I think they discontinued like 2 or 4 years ago as of the making of this stream. It's obviously a hedgehog. I don't think he's a reference to Sonic though. I think that's more Pulsemon. Things I like. I like that they went to the depiction of the hedgehog with the spiky quills everywhere. The red, yellow, white. That works amazingly well. Those, I think, for an electric type, that works well. Things I dislike. I think the only thing I can really find is this yellow marking on the chest. But even then, I don't have too much trouble with it. I think it's an okay addition. I would probably omit it. That's probably the only problem I have with this design. I'll say this gets another perfect. I think as a rookie, this fits the bill of a rookie Digimon. And honestly, I don't have any problems. I think it works well as an electric type, a lightning type. I do believe I've read somewhere that Harrismon, there's only ever one Harrismon, but I don't know where I read that, and I could be wrong on that. Which is a weird lore thing, which I don't know why they would do that. But then again, I've seen some weird things from Transformers and the like, so yeah, I like that it looks like a small hedgehog. I like the color works. The only thing I really don't like is this yellow thing on the chest. 30 seconds, thoughts? Alright, and so we're moving on. We're actually going through these pretty quickly. So we get to Huckmon. Let's see. Huckmon's swashbuckling way of life due to the influence of Gagomon's DNA. Posure, lineage gives a keen sense of battle. Oh, it has pepper breath. That's interesting. So Huckmon, I think, was one of the anniversary Digimon, but I could be wrong. I may be confusing him with Zubamon. This isn't shown here, but Huckmon's cape actually has a hood on it. Hackmon is a better name. Yeah, that is true. I think for English depictions, Hackmon works better. The only issue is the Appmon, which is also called Hackmon. But, you know, Hackmon is a bit of a weird thing. Funny thing, Hackmon looks like Huckmon. Hackmon, the Appmon, looks a lot like Hackmon from Digimon, which is interesting, and I like to think the two are twins. Yeah, 20th anniversary. So it was made for the 20th anniversary. For those who don't know, about every year, Digimon makes a Digimon for the anniversary. Generally, just about every year for the anniversary of Digimon, they make an anniversary Digimon. I think the first one was Dracmon. Not Dracmon. let's go back real quick before I continue so I can explain this. I think the first Dracomon was one of the first of the anniversaries, and I think Dorumon was another, but I could be wrong. But yeah, Hackmon was one of the anniversary Digimon, and he was one of the later Royal Knights. Things I like. I like that they give the idea that this is an adventurer. Full disclosure, I don't play Dragon's Quest, but I'm fully aware of some of the designs they've done. And at least looking at this, it looked, at least with the hood and the cape, I think they were making a reference to Dragon Quest. A very slight reference, especially with the goggles. The goggles are an interesting touch, maybe a bit much, but it's okay. The armor I like. It's a quadruped, which is interesting for a dragon, for Digimon. Looking at the design, the cloak makes it look like those are his wings. That's interesting. If I were to change something with the design, I think I would make the ears, I would omit the ears and make it a smooth, like sort of a more of a smooth knight helmet rather than this spiky ears. I'm also kind of iffy with the nose horn, the nose spike, which I think may be a bit much. But yeah, I think if I were to do this design, I think I would omit the nose spike and the ears, and just kind of make it like a full-on helmet. Other than that, I'm gonna say this is a pretty good design. I like the armor element. I like the cloak. I'm going to say this is another one of the perfects. With the only omissions are just the head. But yeah, it's a pretty good design. Story-wise, Hackmon, we're going to go with Hackmon. Hackmon first appeared, I believe, in the anime in Try. What I don't like about that depiction is they played it less like a squire and more like a veteran. And I don't know. I think that was not the right call. But then again, I didn't make Try. I didn't work on Try, so... otherwise, it's a pretty good design. A little complex, but it works in the right way. Actually, looking at the design, I'm wondering if they were influenced by Vash the Stampede. I just say that because the cloak has 4 buttons, and it's red, and it somehow reminds me of Vash the Stampede. That would actually be an interesting line, to have Hackmon become Kidmon, just as a reference to Trigun. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I like the story element. I like that it looks like a squire. I like the armor. The only thing I would change is the nose spike and the ears, and that's it. That's about it. Perfect design. 30 seconds. I think for next stream, if I were to change anything with this, I'd probably add an actual timer widget. Just looking at this. Ignite mod. Okay, so... Oh, wow, that is a lot. That is a lot of writing. What the... Rest and relaxation. And monitor monsters. So, Ignitemon. Things I like and things I dislike. Hi, Renamon565 again. We've got to Ignitemon. Hopefully we can get to Renamon this session. I'm going to be first off and say what I don't like about this Digimon. This is just a guy in reptile armor. And if this had been, say, a champion level, I can see this working. You know, it looks good for cosplay. You got the big arms and everything. As a rookie, this doesn't work. When you're a rookie, you kind of need a smaller Digimon, more like a cutesy kind of thing. This reads more like a champion. Especially, like, say, if this was a champion for Hackmon. I can see this being a champion for Hackmon. But as a rookie, it looks like they went a bit too far. Or they made a champion, someone thought, well, let's not make it a champion, let's make it a rookie, and downgrade it. You also added in a random grenade. I don't think My Hero Academia was at the time, so I don't think... What was it? Todoroki? I don't watch My Hero, so... Let me see, what was his name? Bakugo. I think this predates Bakugo from My Hero, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's convergent or if Bakugo came out and they were influenced. I think the grenade is a bit excessive for the design. I don't think you need that grenade. I think the Naruto bladed weapon is much. I don't think these are necessary. If anything, I think you should have just made it off that the scarf is something they whip around that cause explosions. But at the same time, you still have this... You've got a guy in cosplay, and I don't think that is a good design element for a rookie. As a champion, this works. If this was a rookie, make it something like the helmet. Like, this is the perfect thing for a rookie. This is not a rookie. That does not look... That's not a rookie. Now, what I do like, I do like the scarf. I think that's a neat little touch. I like the helmet. I think that's a good little touch. But everything else, you know, you went overboard. This is way too much. If this was a champion, I would be okay with it. As a rookie, it's not something I would do. I think this was a missed call for Digimon. So, thoughts? 30 seconds. Okay, so we go from Ignitemon to Impmon. So, Impmon was interesting. Impmon was for those who don't know, Impmon was originally supposed to be Takato's partner. That was the original intent for the Digimon. Just read. So, which kind of breaks up the main lead has a dinosaur Digimon. I can see it working, but given Takato as a character, I think that was making Impmon the partner would have been the wrong call. I think Guilmon worked better, both from a design and story element. As a main villain, I think they were intending to do more with Impmon. They didn't. From a villain standpoint, they did a good job with Impmon. From a story, perfect. As a villain, the advertising overhyped it. Impmon is more like a Shadow character. Shadow the Hedgehog character. Villainous, but he's got a reason for it. You know, he has some luggage he has to deal with. And they did a good job story-wise. Design-wise. It's fairly simple. They add the little punkish elements to it, like the mischievous smile. The hand gloves, okay. Actually, looking at this, I would almost say that the neckerchief, the tie-off in the back, almost works like wings, little impish wings. I guess if there were things I would change, probably omit the toe claws and go more like a Karumi from Hello Kitty. Although that being said, I don't know if Karumi was a thing when Impmon came out. I don't think she was. As an imp, little jester thing, I think the head works. It's a fairly simple design, and it works to convey a mischievous devil. Now, is it a perfect? As a rookie, I will say yes. It works well as a rookie type, as a rookie Digimon. It reads impish and mischievous. The only thing I would change are the claws, and just kind of make it, just those generic little footsie things. And maybe make the tail more of like a devil tail. If I were to do something more with Impmon, I would say make a version that's like pink Impmon, and have it that evolution leads to Beelstarmon. But I don't know. That's just what I would do. I'm going into Sonic the Hedgehog vibes, which is weird because I described Impmon as Shadow the Hedgehog in Tamers. But yeah, it's a good design, well thought out. I like purple. Mischievous. I guess the other thing I would change is maybe make this like that Sonic belly thing as opposed to a smiley thing. Maybe put the smiley on the neckerchief, but it works. You can almost read that as the neckerchief holding the smiley as a medal. It's a neat little design. I like it. It's perfect. Thoughts? Oh, by the way, Renamon, another rookie, because technically Impmon is a partner Digimon for... I forgot their names. They're not really main characters, but they're technically his partner, and they were present at Rika's birthday in the movie. It's funny, he got a purple punk growl line. Before we continue, that is interesting. Recently, Impmon got another evolution line known as the Punkmon. Days Gone, Okami, and Story of the Blanks. I'll have to look up Story of the Blanks. I don't know about Days Gone. The issue is I don't have a PlayStation at the moment. I have a PS2. I don't got a PS3, 4, or 5. And Story of the Blanks. I'll look into the Story of the Blanks. Ao and Mako. That's it. Which, yeah, they don't really... they're important for Impmon. They don't make that many appearances. If they did any so we might as well do something about this. If they did any continuation of Digimon, they need to work with Ao and Mako, because they are important to Impmon. Impmon's whole character growth is tied to Ao and Mako. And if they did a Tamers 2 and did not take into account what Kanaka did, they need to address Ao and Mako. I think that would be something you have to do. And don't do a try thing where you get another Digidestin with their own Digimon. No. If there was a Tamers 2, Ao and Mako and Impmon need some major focuses. You still have Takato, Guillaumon, Henry, Terriermon, Rika, Renamon. Still important. But you need to give Ao and Mako some love. You need to give them some characterization, some plot threads. And give Jerry some plot threads. Although she kind of got a lot in the Tamers. But yeah, Ao and Mako. As for the line, I'll say this. Whenever we heard that they're doing another Impmon line, a lot of people were thinking, oh, especially since Impmon's partner is Yuko, or Yuki, they were going, oh, clearly what they're going to do is they're going to take Impmon and lead it to Beelstarmon. And they went through the Punkmon line. And what I like about the Punkmon line is it's more or less a reference to Guillaumon. And what I and a few others think happened was they took into account that Impmon was supposed to be Takato's partner and went, well, what if we made it Impmon become like Guillaumon up to was it Gehenamon? That final evolution. And I think they did an amazing job. They went the route of a punk rocker. I still think at some point they need to do a line that does Impmon to Beelstarmon, but I could be wrong. I will also say I much prefer the Punkmon line rather than Impmon becoming Wizardmon and then Meramon. I think that doesn't fit Impmon. I think the Punkmon line works a lot better. You can even use the Punkmon line to even in Tamers to say that Impmon feels lesser than Guillaumon and is starting to copy Guillaumon. It's a thought. I don't think they would do that because Impmon has his own story beats. But yeah, you've got an amazing Digimon, an amazing story, an amazing history and development element. So we're going to give it 30 seconds. I want a new group of Digimon where it's their own thing, like their group isn't based on any myths or legend, it's their own thing. That would be interesting. The only issue is you're dealing with a lot of culture elements where people are going to go, well, let's base this off of Viking, Norse mythology. Let's base this off Greek mythology. Let's base this off of Journey to the West. And when we get to those Digimon, I will bring up some problems I have with New Century designs. I have some problems with those, but we're not going to get to that later because they're not really rookies. They're higher level. One of the issues with saying, not based off of anything, it can be very hard. And I say that as someone who's taken in a lot of media from all over the place. Warhammer 40k, a lot of Space Marine legions are based off of either stories or mythos that you may not expect. Looking into Trench Crusade, that's taking an inspiration from, cultures, religion, and all. It's very difficult to say. They say, oh, it's not based off of anything. I would say, though, that that's a neat thing to shoot for. It's a neat thing to go, how do I make this Digimon, or how do I make a design not based off of anything else? I would say that would be a challenge. Maybe one of these days I need to run a challenge like that. Tell my fans, hey, send your picture to this Blue Sky account and show me the designs that, original designs, not, following these descriptions. Which, by the way, make sure to follow me on Blue Sky. Does Intmon like Renamon? Let me quickly. That has been brought up on occasion. I don't think it's ever been confirmed. By the way, I got a new keyboard. It's now a mechanical keyboard. It's a Have It keyboard. Just for quick, just so that you all know what I have, because I want to show it off. It is a, according to Amazon, Have It mechanical keyboard, wired compact PC keyboard with number pad, red switch, mechanical gaming keyboard. Okay, so they're just advertising. Yeah, it's a Have It, which I like. I got it because of Linus Tech Tips. As for does Intmon like Renamon? That's a good question, and I don't think it's ever been confirmed or denied. By the way, just for Blue Sky, remember to follow me on Blue Sky. It wouldn't surprise me, given that in the show Intmon was trying to get stronger. As for if he did, I don't think it's ever been commented on. So, but yeah, we're going to go towards the next Intmon. We're getting a lot of perfect designs this session. So, Intmon X antibody, one of the X antibodies, and as you can see, they've complicated the design a lot. But in a good way, I think. You added in an eye patch with the X. Good. We got the first X antibody that's actually added in an X element. You've added in the neckerchief, more like wings. That's an interesting concept. The arms, I just realized one's red, one's blue. I didn't realize that. You've got a belt with the mischievous smile. That's an interesting part. Let's add it. By taking in the X antibody, Intmon has grown confident in strength, becoming more aloof. It's picked up Garp itself, since it made them seem more like a lone wolf, and it's convincing that taking off its eye patch will allow it to make use of full power. However, doing so doesn't make any of it more powerful. Intmon. Okay, so they're doing that reference. For those who don't know, and you see this on occasion in anime, it's the idea that a character has an evil eye that they have to hold back, so they have to wear an eye patch. I believe that's a reference. There's a reference in it in Megumin from Konosuba, and you see this a lot in other anime. You have a random character with an eye patch. It's a reference to a cultural element in Japan. The idea that a high schooler is incredibly powerful or has this demon eye. Forgot what it's called. Sorry if this is taking a while to look at it. Okay, so it's according to this, Chunibuya. Often short as Chuni or Chutu. Okay, so it's meant to the embarrassing behavior of a 13, 14-year-old. And they made it work with Impmon. My experience with Impmon X Antibody is from Digi Destiny, which they did a good job. That being said, I think Carlo took maybe a little too much inspiration from the original design, from the official design, but that's just me. As for the whole rookie, they complicated it a little. You know, the eye patch with the X, that works. I think the hands, I don't think it's necessary to make one red, one blue, but that's fine. They actually followed my suggestion about making the tail a devil tail. I do like the scarf as wings. Where I think they may have went a bit overboard, I think the belt is unnecessary. I think if I were to do that face, I think I would have added it to the scarf as a pin. Otherwise, I think they did a good job of making an edgelord Impmon. It's not a perfect design. I think the original does things better, but otherwise it's an okay design. It's close. It's not perfect, but it's close. Thoughts? And I just realized there's another X. So they added multiple X's to the design. I think they did a good job. I think this is a good design. Not perfect, but it's there. Jazamon. This was from one of the games, if I'm correct. Mechanical Digimon. Things I like. I like the crest. I like the head crest, kind of like Beelzemon. Like they went the route of a bird. What I don't like is I think they went a bit too far with the mechanical element. I think they added too much greeble. For those who don't know, greeble are little elements added to science fiction designs in order to make it seem more complex. And I think for a mechanical bird, they added in too many little unnecessary elements. It reads more like a drone rather than a being. If anything, make the eyes more like have pupils rather than just glass eye that appears. Honestly, this feels more like a Super Sentai or a Power Rangers being. Valley from High School DxD. I did not watch DxD. I did not watch High School DxD. But that's for other reasons. I mean, if you're going to go with a mechanical bird, I would say go maybe more the direction of what they did in Jason and the Argonauts. You know, the mechanical owl. This feels more like a Super Sentai mascot than a Digimon. They needed to add some more organic elements, like maybe make the eyes more like the traditional Digimon eye. Simplify the design. an organic eye or something. And I don't know. Like, I can see this as an evolution for like a mechanical Beelzemon, but it's I can see this with a Super Sentai team, not a Digimon. So yeah, things I would say with this design: ease up on the greeble, add some organic elements. What I like the head crest. So, thoughts? And so we're going to move on to the next design, next Digimon, Jellymon. So Jellymon first appeared in Ghost Game, if I'm correct. And I'm almost wondering if Jellymon was supposed to be a semi-reference to Splatoon. Things I like. I like that they didn't just take a jellyfish and say jellyfish. They actually, added the jellyfish hat, but added more. The little tiny gremlin-like being. They also added in some electricity, which is an interesting aspect. What I think I don't like. Actually, one thing I'm noticing from this artwork, it looks like Jellymon is supposed to be. She looks like she's wearing one of those Japanese swimsuits, school swimsuits, which is a bit of a weird thing to do, but hard to say. I think if I were to change anything, I think I would make the thighs a little less. I think that's a bit much for the character, especially since jellyfish aren't really known for thick elements. They're more known for big head, small tentacles. So that's something I would change. I'm not going to say she's a perfect design because I feel it's a little too cluttered. And before you ask, I've seen a little bit of Ghost Game. I think I got towards like the third episode before I went, this is not really my cup of tea. Now I understand it does get better. My understanding is Ghost Game does get better. But I don't know. It wasn't a show I could get into at the time. I may try again at another time. Other than that, I think Jellymon is an okay design. It's definitely a decent water electric. I like that they did more than just a standard jellyfish. I think the thighs are a bit much for a rookie design. That's just me. 30 seconds. We've gone down to 30 seconds. I'm actually surprised not many people commented about Jellymon, because I know she has quite a fan base. Junkmon. Okay, so Junkmon. I don't know what year he came in, which is a bit weird. Puppet Digimon tends to toss junk parts into his cannon bag, and structure surrounding the range hospital. So things about this design. I like that it looks very toyetic. If this had been sold as, say, a toy with a launcher in the back, I think it probably would have sold very well. You know, you even have the place where you press down to launch stuff. Excuse me. They went the route of a beaver looking at it. I think the cannon is a unique scrap design. What I don't like, I think I don't like the idea that it has wheels in the back. I think you would almost be better with maybe maybe just omit the wheels and just have it where it's almost like a platypus. Is that a beaver? It is a beaver. You can tell by the teeth. But yeah, I would almost put like maybe some fin things in the back and make it seem more like a platypus. Someone's definitely giving something in the chat. I like the cannon. I like the idea that they made a junk cannon. The only thing I would change is the tires, because I like that it's toyetic. I like that it looks like a toy. I think the cannon's the wheel is a bit much, and you would be better off with either flippers or just omit them and have it that it kind of walks on its front paws around like a bipedal mech walker, like a Hollander from BattleTech. If anyone gets that reference. And again, I'm fairly certain that tail, not only is it supposed to look like a beaver, it's supposed to look like a air cushion that you press down on to launch things out from the cannon. So it's not a perfect design. I feel this looks more like a toy than a Digimon, but that's just me. And I have used parabolic junk cannon in the card game, I think when it first started. I don't think I've used the cards now. By the way, I play an X antibody deck. I haven't played in a while. I would like to see what they do with Alphamon with the cards, but that's just me. So, yeah, I like that it looks like a toy that I want to buy. I like the cannon. I think that the wheels should be omitted. 30 seconds. So, we go from Junkmon to Kamamon. And droid that still looks like a mouse. So, Kamamon. I believe Cross Wars is where Kamamon first appeared in the anime, but I think there may be an earlier depiction because the encyclopedia is not putting Cross Wars as a depiction, which is weird. Which means he may have appeared earlier. I also want to say that at the time I thought Kamamon was part of the D Brigade, but apparently he's not. The reason I say that, blue helmet. So, design elements. They took a turtle and made them a mouse, which is certainly creative, because I would have just made a mouse making it a mouse. Much like the cat scanner. For those who don't know, there was a barcode scanner that looked like a cat. It did not go. It wasn't on the market for long and was quickly removed because people realized I can just use this as a barcode scanner. It didn't go anywhere. It was supposed to be like, oh, you got a mouse and you got a cat. I like the idea that they made this the scroll wheel. And on one, I kind of wish they made it the ball mouse with the ball in the center. The idea that you can kind of roll them around. And it looks like that's partially what they did. But given the arrows, it's clearly a scroll wheel. I do think the helmet is a bit unnecessary because you're confusing it with the D Brigade. I'm not gonna. I like the concept, and one thing I think a lot of people are omitting: the tail actually has a. Well, it's just a cable, but I think that's a reference to a PS2 connection. For those who don't know, PS2 is a actual connector. It's not a PlayStation 2 cable. It's an old cable they used to use. You still see it occasionally on boards, but they don't really use it that often anymore. I like that it's a turtle that's a mouse. The only thing I would omit is the helmet. I don't think you need a blue helmet. I think you need some kind of helmet because I like the eyes being hidden under a helmet, but I don't think a blue PAGST helmet is the direction to go because it reads too much like a D Brigade. And Kamamon is not a D Brigade Digimon, which is weird to say. So yeah, I like that it looks like a turtle that's a mouse. I don't like the helmet. Thoughts? That was the 30 seconds. So, Caramon. Nikkei, the VA's favorite Digimon. He originally appeared in the movie. Believe it or not, there's actually a Digimon transforming spirits toy that you can buy that's based off of Kamamon. Sorry, Caramon. Which goes from Caramon to Diaboramon, if I'm correct. Giggle. Let's see. Sumamon. There was larger. By which it unleashes beef life as it laughs. Laughs? That's a weird thing. So they went the direction of a jellyfish with hands. This was again one of the early Digimon. On the other hand, they added in this little frilled collar like a clown, which given its laughter thing works. Weirdly, I think the antennae work. It gives the idea of a bug in the system, almost insectoid. You got long, creepy thing. This is almost like a creepypasta, like a creep. I could see this almost as like an SCP thing, a creepy virus that comes in. Yeah, if I was a kid, I would say that this is what a virus looks like. It looks like a bug. It looks like a creepy little thing. I do think they went a little basic with the jellyfish design, which was something I said Jellymon did better. But given that it's supposed to look like a monster, like a virus that ruins computers, I think this is a good representation. And one thing I didn't realize, it actually has eyes underneath its mouth. I did not realize it. Well, some kind of eye markings. If I were to change this, I would probably want to add it that the body looks like it has more, like a bigger cable becoming a smaller cable becoming smaller cables. Otherwise, I will say Caramon actually gets the perfect stamp. And I say that because it looks like what I think a kid would think a computer virus looks like. It's perfect for that. It looks like this playful monster that's trying to eat your data. It's got these long, creepy hands. They did an amazing job. And even my complaint about, saying, well, the cables should be connected, it still works. It's probably one of the closer to the perfect designs I've seen. And it fits the aesthetic, it fits the concept of Digimon as digital monsters. I think it's one of the perfects. It's one of the perfect designs out there. Now, I do think they should do a better job with the symbols on the bottom of the mouth, which I think even the movie omits. But yeah, pretty good design. 30 seconds. Thoughts? So yeah, we're going on to the next Digimon. Caramon X antibody. So let's read this up. Let's see. 3 parts. It's reaching point where Maga should catch one. His face is a willow. Half full forms once. So, things about this Digimon. It looks like they went the route of biblically accurate angel. And some things. I don't like in this design, I think the antennae don't work. I think the heads, that this is 3 heads, 3 mouths connected, I think it overcomplicates it. You're going too much like the Shai Halud from Dune, and it doesn't work. Multiple. See, when I first looked at this, I didn't realize that these were heads. I thought that this was just some random mouth that now opens differently. I think they overcomplicated it. The tendrils on the bottom aren't as crazy. And I think you kind of need them to be a little more crazy. If I were to do this design, you also don't... you don't have the X antibody, so this doesn't really... I would say this is more of a champion for Caramon. Multiple Caramons coming together that are eating more. What I would change... Keep this as, say, a standard Caramon. Just one head. Add an X antibody symbol somewhere. And maybe add more hands, representing that it's grabbing more data to eat and probably a larger mouth. Adding more mouths, I don't think is the direction to go. This reads more like biblically accurate angel than a virus. And if anything, it doesn't read... One of the things I liked about Caramon was it looked like what a kid would think a computer virus looks like. This doesn't look like it. This just looks like Shai Halud got hands and decided to go into the internet. Would have been cool if of the X antibody had parasites coming out of the Digimon. That would have been an interesting concept. The idea that it has smaller parasites that it infects other Digimon with. Yeah, actually play into this is a virus, which is what viruses do. They go onto into cells, inject their DNA, and have the cell create that virus. It eats more. If you're going to do that, just make it a bigger mouth. Make it a bigger mouth, maybe give it more hands. Right now, this reads more like a fallen angel because of the wrappings around the hands, which I'm just noticing. The multiple eyes, the arms, the bottoms becoming like wings, and the Shai Halud. No, this reads more like a champion. This reads more like a champion rather than a rookie version. Um, and compared to the original is better. I think the original design is way better than this. Um, this I think misses the point of the original. So thoughts? 30 seconds. So now that we've gone through that, let's go towards the next Digimon. I really want to hit Renamon today. Just hope my body can hold. Kodokugamon. Spider. Little tiny tarantula. Look at that rose in tandem with Dokugamon. Koduga is a general rolling ball hanging, but when it drops down, can't be strong and poisonous, so it wears gloves that inject poison. That's a cute design element. I think it's a cute little spider. The things I like that you made a spider. You made a cute little tiny spider, almost like a jolt tick. I think it has 9 eyes, just from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm assuming that's on the other side. Cute little skulls. It's a cute little tarantula. And I think that's a neat thing. Now, I do think you should have added 8 eyes. Because right now I think this has 9, and that's a bit much. I think spiders have either 1 eye or 1 compound. I think the eyes on the side are a bit unnecessary. Either add some compound eyes or add them closer. But I think he's a cute little spider, and technically it does have 8 limbs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna say this gets one of the perfects. It's a cute little spider. As for things I would change, maybe make the body a little thinner, because right now it looks like a big chunker. But really, that's not much of a complaint. I think it's a cute little spider, and I don't really like spiders. I can see this as the original form of Arukenimon. And yeah, the skulls are a little cute on it. Now look at me calling a spider cute. I don't like spiders. But this guy's just a little cute thing. It's even got a little smiley face. Oh, what a cute little spider. Spider. Spiders! Cute little spiders! Oh, man. So yeah, I'll say Kodokugamon gets the perfect stamp. It's a little tiny spider. Cute little spider. Maybe a little complex, but it's a little spider. I like it. 30 seconds. Thoughts? It's a cute little spider, and I can see this as like someone's partner, and then at some point it becomes Arukenimon. Actually, I can see it as a partner, like having a girl who's like Misty, who's very scared of insects, And then all of a sudden it becomes Arukenimon, and it's like, oh, now they like insects. Kokabuterimon. I believe this was one of the early It's not an early Digimon. It's one of the Digimon that becomes one of the holy Digimon. Not 10 legendary warriors. Let's see. Feared by the... It's rather powerful having the... Spirit of a certain research institution. That's a reference to something. So, things I like. I like the Kamen Rider reference. That head, this head, I'm fairly certain is reference to Kamen Rider. This feels like someone took a Kamen Rider character, made it shorter and really buffed up as a monster. What I think I don't like, it feels a bit too much like a champion level. Just because it looks like this is a fairly big Digimon. And at that size, you kind of want that to be a champion. If I were to make this a rookie, I would make this more like not Kabuterimon. Let me get his Tentamon. I would make it more like a smaller Tentamon. Maybe like a smaller horn, maybe a more, repaired scarf. This feels more like a champion of that. Like, I can see Tentamon becoming Kokabuterimon. But I understand the name. They want to make it that Ko small. Boko. If I remember correctly in Japanese language, adding the Ko usually means kid or boy. So I can see what they're trying to say, that this becomes Kabuterimon. I would almost want this to be the champion of Tentamon, representing Tentamon becoming more like Kamen Rider. But I like the Kamen Rider reference. I don't think he's a rookie of one of the 10 legendary for the reface. Yeah, you can see that in the horn, because I think the beast of the legendary warrior of lightning has the gun tank Digimon, whose name I forget. As a design, I feel this more is like a champion for Tentamon. I like the Kamen Rider reference. I think that works amazingly well. But as a rookie, I think it's going a bit too much. It feels like it should be a bigger Digimon. It feels like it should be more of a beefy guy that's gone through a lot of pain, like it's lost something. Like Kamen Rider. By the way, I haven't seen Kamen Rider. I just know a little bit of Kamen Rider from what I've read. In one of the role plays I DM, one of the players really likes Kamen Rider, and so I had to do a quick crash course on Kamen Rider, especially because of Zolon Blitz from the first Kamen Rider, which is a Golden Wolfman is still a concept of a character that I find hilarious on so many levels. As for this, it's not a perfect design because it feels more like a champion. But I like the concept. A Kamen Rider Digimon that feels like, let's take Kamen Rider and make them a Digimon, and not let's make a Digimon and make it Kamen Rider. This is what I think you should go for that design. Fortunately, as a rookie, doesn't work. As a champion, I think it works beautifully. Thoughts? 30 seconds. Okay, so next Digimon. So which Digimon other than Agumon could work in Smash Brothers? Guilmon, Renamon, uh, Tentamon, uh, maybe Gatomon, uh, Minervamon would also work. Kokuamon, aka the Taser. So really any of the Digimon could work. And you can go in any direction with it. But it would probably have to be either the rookies or the megas, anywhere in between, and you get more towards like assists. Kokuamon, it's a taser. Things I don't like. You added too many outlets. And I'll say this as someone who's been to gun shows where they sell these things. I have seen tasers where really all it is you've got the stun gun. Actually, no. I need to remember what Zach Hazard has said. For those who don't know, this is not a taser. This is a stun gun. When will Digimon get into Smash Brothers Digimon? Well, I mean, they had the... Digimon had Rumble Arena, which... There's Rumble Arena, and Rumble Arena 1 and 2. There's also that Xbox 360 game, which no one talked... Digimon All-Stars, I believe it was. There is a fan remake of Rumble Arena, and I do have to try it one day. Read the profile. An extremely rare insect machine Digimon that was recently discovered. No one has been discovered up to this point. Its mere existence is not even considered a possibility. When it senses danger, so none can approach without caution. Even so, it lacks any aggression, having a docile nature that causes it to seek peace instead. Ventures. Okay, so they took a beetle and took a stun gun. Going off of what I remember saying with stun guns, I'm fairly certain whoever designed this probably went to the US at some point and went to a gun show, because a lot of stun guns, they don't have a USB point to charge. They actually have a folding outlet that you can plug into the wall to charge the stun gun. And looking at this, I think that was part of the inspiration they had for this. Now, I do think they added in too many PowerPoints. I can understand adding in the two outlets in the midsection. You know, that's brought into the design, and they look like hands. I think the shoulder pads is a bit much. I think that the shoulder pads should be omitted. They drive home that it's electrifying with sparks coming everywhere off of the points, taser points, stun gun points. What I think I would change: omit the plugs on the shoulder pads. I think those are unnecessary and overcomplicate the design. I would also look at the feet and probably not have them be those padding. I think I would have just a standard stock. You know, just like a boot thing. It's not a perfect design because it's a little too complicated. But just going off of from what I've seen at gun shows and just security work, I think they fully understood what a stun gun is. And I appreciate that. That being said, I think they may have gone a little too overboard in some areas. So, thoughts? 30 seconds. So, yeah. Uh, just zap, yep. Just a quick question. Would you guys prefer if I start reading the descriptions? I say that because Greydora175 keeps asking me to read the description. Would it be okay if you want me to first read and then go into my opinions of it? Because I can do that. And we'll do that right now with the X antibody. An extremely rare insect, machine Digimon that was recently discovered. No insect Digimon has been discovered up until this point. Its mere existence not even considered a possibility. Kokuamon's stun gun-shaped head and arms can discharge 100 megavolts of electricity when it senses danger, so none can approach without caution. Even so, it lacks any aggression, having a docile nature that causes it to seek peace instead. Kokuamon obtains nourishment from electricity and recharges itself with the two limbs on its midsection. It uses its special mini scissor claw to electrify its pincers and slice through even the sturdiest objects. Effect of the X antibody on Kokuamon's Digicore. Its increased electrical capacity lets it not only discharge electricity, but also supply electricity for its Denduho Henkai electrical transformation. I don't know how to pronounce that. While an increase in attack power cannot be confirmed at this time, Kokuamon, X-Antibody, will charge forward in its Dendauhenkai form once overly angered. So, looking at this, they made it a transformer. That's about all they did. It looks like they omitted the shoulders, because I think that's what the arms are. They made the feet yellow, and that's about it. And they made it turn into a transformer. For any designers out there, when you make an X antibody form, part of the X antibody, when a Digimon gets the X antibody, is that it's supposed to have gotten stronger. And part of that causes the form to change. Oh no, I see the outlet. This, you colored the feet and the hands gold, bronze. I would have been okay with, like, say, an X antibody thing on the wings or on the chest. You didn't do that. All you did was you took a transforming toy and changed it from robot form into jet form. This, a Digimon, it does not make. And I'm going to say that this is what you don't do when you make a Digimon. You don't make an X antibody form and say, that's it. This is not an X antibody form. This is just a transformer that you transformed into the jet form. And you did this is like you lazed out. I guess what I like is you made it look like a jet, but what I don't like is you did nothing to change it. This doesn't read. This doesn't look like you've done. This looks like you did the bare minimum to make it different. So, yeah, 30 seconds, thoughts? And yeah, I thought they would do more with this, and they did not. And we're just gonna move on, because no, that was like nothing. Kotemon, a reptile Digimon that aims to become the greatest swordsman in the digital world. Kotemon is a hard worker that silently endeavors to train in unseen areas. It never removes its protector, so its bare face is a total mystery. Although Kotemon is cowardly and prone to crying, it cares for its friends and has a strong sense of justice. and occasionally displays a stalwart side. It uses its signature move, Thundercoat, to strike the enemy's arm with an electrical charge. With its special move, Hothead, it wreathes its bamboo sword in flames before aiming for the head of its foe. So, 1. I like the kendo design aesthetic. This looks like the mascot for a kendo gym, and I love it. Like, if I was going to a strip mall and I saw, Kendo Club or Dr. Arasaka's Kendo Club, and this is the mascot, I'd be okay with that. I think if I was a high school that had a Kendo Club, I would use this as a mascot. It's what I expect from a mascot. And I like that. I like that you went with the protectors. I like that you went with the kendo armor. I like the Kendo Club. What I don't like, I don't think you need the two horns. I think the two horns are unnecessary and don't really... Okay, wait, hold on. Let me stop. Because it's saying electrical. And whenever you see horns, that's usually indicative of an Oni. There's a specific Oni with thunder horns. Knowing that it's electrical and with the horns, that's the reference. I didn't realize that. There's actually many elements to this. I guess if I were to change something, I would say omit... No, I actually like the tail. Huh. I guess if I were to change this, maybe add some electrical decals to the armor. I think the armor needs a little extra to it. I'm actually surprised that this was not Cody's partner. I could see this as Cody's partner, especially since Cody does kendo in the anime, but I think Kodomon came after O2. Going off of this, I'm going to say Kodomon is another perfect, because it looks like what I would see an advertisement for a kendo club or a kendo gym have. I think it's a cool design that's both cute but awesome. The only thing I would change is probably add some electrical elements to the armor. Because right now it just kind of reads standard armor. Maybe add a little electrical charge on the head. But other than that, it's a perfect design. Yeah, if I was running a kendo club, this is what I would use as a mascot. This is what I would use. It's perfect. Maybe a little complex, maybe but it works. Yeah. Any opinions before I say 30 seconds? Uh, 30 seconds. So yeah, let's go towards the next Digimon. Come on, we need to hit Renamon. We need to get to Renamon. I don't want to end it just before Renamon. Kudamon. Kudamon, Holy Beast. This one was, I believe, in Data Squad, one of the... Well, I'm not going to say that's a spoiler. It's a weasel. Let's read the profile. A Holy Beast Digimon that is always wrapped around a holy ammunition cartridge. Kudamon constantly stores holy power within the earring on its left ear, and the amount it accumulates affects the course of its next Digivolution. Calm and collected by nature, it will promptly assess any situation, even a battle, ensuring that combat progresses in a favorable manner. When things turn south, however, this Digimon enters its cartridge in order to strengthen its defensive position. It uses its special move, Bullet Whirlwind, to smack the foe with the cartridge while spinning in its body, or Blinding Ray to blind the enemy with a large flash from its earring. Huh, so there's even the 2006 version. Um, it's a little weasel. I like that they basically took a cartridge. I don't think it's any specific cartridge because it just looks like a generic cartridge. I like that they added in digicode around the rim because for a lot of bullets, if you look on the bottom, they usually have things written. Usually the type of cartridge, when it was manufactured, where it was manufactured based on its code. Things I don't like. I think I think putting the emphasis on the earring was a bad idea. If anything, put a holy ring around the neck, because I would totally ignore that earring. I think if you're going to put that emphasis on the earring, make it bigger and put, either make it the collar or make the earring more pronounced, because right now this just feels like greeble. It feels like an unnecessary element. It also reads more like a ghost. So I would probably maybe put more emphasis on the body being a solid thing rather than a transparent ghost or cloth. It's also a bit weird that you're putting emphasis on the cartridge because it doesn't read like a gun. So, things I like the weasel element. I like that you've put emphasis onto the cartridge. What I don't like is you're putting a lot of emphasis on that earring, but it's not prominent, especially since you have this collar. Make the collar the important element. I also think the transparent body is unnecessary and pulls away from is this a ghost or is this a weasel? Overall, it's an okay design, a bit simplistic. It's certainly creative, but I think there are some things that need to be fixed first. Like, put emphasis on the collar, not the earring, especially with how small that earring is. Thoughts? Alright, so let's go on to the next Digimon. The Kudamon 2006 version. So, well, actually, they changed it. A holy beast wearing a holy ammunition cartridge. Kudamon stores its holy power in the earring on its left ear, and the amount it accumulates affects the course of the next evolution. Common collected by nature, it will probably assess any solution, even battle. Ensuring that combat progresses in a favorable manner. When things turn south, however, this Digimon enters its cartridge in order to strengthen its defense position. Bullet wear blinding ring. Finally, when the design has a circuit board on when the designs resembling a circuit board on its back begin to glow, it can fire a beam of sacred energy with Holy Shot. So, it's funny that there are various like this. So, what I think happened is someone made the original Kudamon design, and I'm going to look this up real quick because if they're clarifying the thing with Data Squad, they added a lot of they changed things. Agumon is a good example because Agumon originally did not have the vambraces. When did Kudamon first appear? Because that's even weird. There's a version of Kudamon with legs, so what are they trying to do here? Hold on. So, what I'm thinking was at some point they had two Kudamons. One of the Kudamons was the original design or a prototype design that made appearances. And then in 2006, this version appeared and they changed things. Things about this design. So, they took the bullet, they made it smaller, and played it off that Kudamon is the smoke coming from a spent cartridge. Must be because some of this Digis appeared in the VPET Spirit. That is true, and we did look at Falcomon earlier, where we looked at the newer design and the older design, and yeah, I much prefer what they did with the 2006 anime version. As for Kudamon, on one hand, I like that they put emphasis on the holy ring on the neck. They pulled away from the earring, which is a good thing. And I like the idea that this is gun smoke coming from a spent cartridge. That being said, they did pull away from the cartridge in this design, and I think that was the wrong direction. The circuit board on the back, you're making it look more regal and more royal. Really, what I would do, make the earlier Kudamon be like the generic Kudamon. That's the Kudamon that all Kudamon are, a virus type. And this is the Royal Knight version, or the holy version of Kudamon. Spoilers. I'm fully aware of things. As is, this doesn't feel like an improvement over the other Kudamon. It feels more like a side grade. And I don't think that warrants its own part in the Digimon as its own Digimon. This feels like it's just a version of Kudamon, not its own Digimon. So it doesn't get the perfect. I don't think the other, neither does the other. I like the concept that they're playing off of here, but really, this doesn't warrant it's a better design. So 30 seconds. So like I said, I like that it comes off as Gunsmoke. I don't like that you pulled emphasis away from the cartridge, or that really you did do much. I guess I don't like the circuit board. I like the previous design with the tattoo. Do you think we got a Digimon version here of Shadow Luigi? I think I don't think so. If they did do something, it would probably be Year of the Guilmon. And I say that because when they did a poll of who's the best Digimon, best tamer, best partner Digimon, Guilmon won. He just won. And usually when Bandai does polls like that, they use that to direct. You have the comic Liberators. That's true! You do have Liberators. I forgot about that. Every anniversary there's a mascot. Yep, that is true. But they don't always work with that mascot. Every year there's a mascot, but they don't always do everything with that mascot. I say that from Digimon. Oh, I have the V-Pad. What was it? Seekers. I had the Vita bracelet, and I have the Seekers one. I don't have Logomon because, for whatever reason, that was a hard one to find. I can go into the Vita bracelets later. Some of my complaints I had about that, but as for mascot, if they were to do a year of, it would probably be Guilmon, because Tamers, well loved, Guilmon won the polls, and I'll say this is the development of Tamers. Sorry, the development of Tri. Before they did Tri, one of the things Bandai did was they put a poll out. It was either Bandai or Toei. They put a poll out and said, which of these series would you like to see a continuation, or which one's better? And unanimously, not unanimously, most people did Adventure. Because it's Adventure. Everyone loves Adventure. But I think Tamers was like second or third. People were we want a continuation. So, polls like that generally give companies an idea of where to take the franchise, and if they were to do a year of, like, all this merchandising and everything, it would probably be Guilmon. Because Agumon's everywhere. Agumon was an Appmon. The only other Digimon that was an Appmon was War Greymon, because War Greymon, and Hackmon. But Hackmon had to change. Hackmon had to change a lot just to become an Appmon in that. Agumon was an Appmon. So, but yeah, if there was a year of, it would be... You know that Kanaka tried Tamers 2, but due to Adventure 2020 was denied. There's actually more to it. Kanaka tried to do a Tamers 2. He made a radio drama, but the drama when the radio, there's a couple things with that, and we're going to go into a side tangent, and we're actually going to go toward. So for those who don't know, in 2021, Kanaka, it was I believe it was the 20th anniversary of Tamers. And after Tamers came out, Kanaka made some continuations of Tamers. These were mostly radio dramas. And they were seen as canon. Let's see, well, in the manga of Atmon, Amardellamon, and Littlemon, also the two Buddy Digimon Frontiers got good. I didn't know that. I did not see the manga. I only saw the cartoon on Crunchyroll, the anime. So, Kanaka made a continuation of Tamers. And he got most of the actors back. Some of them didn't because they retired, and in Japan they don't really recast the voice actors because they say something of the voice is that important. Take what you will of that. There's probably more there going. So they did the Tamers show, the Tamers radio drama. And there were some things in that show that they said that made people go, what on earth? Specifically, what it was is there was not a Digimon, but a being called political correctness that used an attack called cancel culture. And Kanaka got in hot water over that. So much so that almost like within a month, he released a post on his blog, in English, by the way, basically saying, "Oh, I didn't know that this was." It went along the lines of, "Hey, when I did Tamers, I added in a lot of current events going on. And I watch a lot of news of what's going on in the US, and I looked at some alternative news sites, and I thought, hey, I want to be in the Vogue." I'm paraphrasing pretty badly on this, but what he said was, I didn't realize this was that bad of a thing. I was trying to be in the Vogue, so on and so forth. The only reason I know this was I was in the Navy in 2021, And for the longest time, I wanted to do a review of Tamers and say, hey, if they ever did a continuation, they need to get Kanaka. And then I learned about this whole controversy, and I'm like, eee. Yeah, they're not getting Kanaka. Like if I was the CEO of Bandai, yeah. So they canceled Kanaka because he talked about cancel culture. Pretty much. You have to understand, at the time, it was 2021, we were in the lockdown. And I'm going to say this for posterity. There was a lot of misinformation going on at that time. It was a very tense moment for a lot of reasons. And to hear the creator of the creator of Tamers, the headliner, I need to correct that, saying, oh, I was looking at alternative news sites and I wanted to, bring up cancel culture and political correctness. If this had came out prior, I think Kanaka would have been okay. There would have been a lot of questions, but I think at most he would have been viewed as, oh, he's being kooky. That's it. He's being creative. In 2021, between what was going on Twitter and the lockdown and Alex Jones, it didn't read the room well. I'll say this. There's a reason in my review of Tamers I poke a lot of fun at Alex Jones. Because it not only did Tamers poke fun at these big grandiose conspiracies, it was also kind of a reference towards, hey, you want to be careful with what alternative news sources you're using. You kind of want to do your own research. But bear in mind, there's a lot more going on. And yeah, Kanaka was canceled basically for, I would say, being a little inappropriate. He didn't read the room. As for any continuations, Bandai, Koei, Toei, they haven't said anything about Tamers. They haven't said any continuations. They've done the standard anniversaries, the 2020 anniversary and the like. And I think there's a themed cafe that had some Digimon food, and Guilmon had bread. They don't look like Guilmon, but they were there. But yeah, it was a different time, and I'm sad. If they were to do a continuation of Tamers, I unfortunately don't think Kanaka would be a part of it. That being said, I'm guessing too that Kanaka may not have known about that guy you're talking. I didn't know. I guess it's because I'm from another country. To be fair, given what Kanaka said, alternative news sites, I don't think he was watching InfoWars. I don't think he was tuning into Alex Jones for what he was watching about. For those who don't know, Alex Jones ran InfoWars. He also ran a vitamin thing. Recently, he was sued for defaming if I remember correctly, he was saying defaming statements to the Sandy Hook victims and survivors. There are others that can better say it. All you need to know is Alex Jones basically his entire media empire was collapsed. But for posterity's sake, if anyone's knowing, he was pretty much seen as the alternative news source for a lot of people. He was actually on BitChute. That was where he was actually booted off of YouTube. And I know this because I tried to get footage for my review of Tamers, and YouTube did a good job of scrubbing most of Alex Jones off the platform. He's on BitChute, last I recall, but I think his media empire has been sold off. I could be wrong. Um, but yeah, it it was a different time. It No, it wasn't a different time. It was a tense time. 2021 was a very tense and touchy time, and we're still feeling it. But back to Digimon. Kunemon. A larva Digimon with lightning pattern on its body, insectoid Digimon children are particular beasts even among Digimon, as their Digivolved forms are still unclear. Even so, the discovery of Kunemon suggests that the existence of insectoid Digimon aside from Kabuterimon will be confirmed one day. It is uncertain whether or not the bolt-shaped patterns on what seems to be Kunemon's face act as optic organs, but the fact that they change shape according to its emotions makes it a distinct possibility. This Digimon loves pranks. It uses its special move Electric Thread to spin an electrified thread from its hard beak. Anything entwined in this thread passes out from shock. So I know from I forgot its name and I have it on Steam. Digimon Survive. This is one of the main characters. I know Dokunemon right here is the recolor. It looks like an electric bolt. I think the antennae are okay. I like that it looks electrical. I like that it looks like it can throw lightning. But I think I prefer the recolor. That being said, given that it's electrical, I like the inspiration. I think the antennae are unnecessary from a design standpoint, but otherwise, it's an okay design. It doesn't get the perfect. I like that it looks electrical. I don't like the antennae. So, thoughts? So 30. So yeah. I will say about the Kanaka thing, when I do my commentary on Digimon Tamers, I'm probably going to do way more on it. I'll talk more about it. Kunig. Huh. Yeah. I played very little of Survive, but I know a little bit of it. Labramon. A beast Digimon resembling a real canine. This rookie is said to be the final form of an artificially created Digimon. Although it is commonly assumed that Labramon won't Digimon further, unconfirmed information indicates that this is as far from the case. Perhaps some sort of miracle will encourage Labramon's further digivolution. It's extremely loyal to its tamer, treating their protection as its duty. Labramon's special ability, Cure Liquor, allows it to heal injuries and cure illnesses of Digimon it considers allies. It uses special move Retrieve Bark to generate hyper-oscillation with an intense bark. I believe that this is another Digimon from Survive. And if I remember correctly, this also appeared in Tamers. For those who don't know, there was a film called Digimon Islands of Adventure. And one of the characters has a dog Digimon, and I think it was Labramon. But I don't remember. As for references, you're doing so things about the design. I'm thinking you shouldn't include the CD drama. It's just an unproduced script and not unobtained in any media. Let's first talk about Labramon. We'll get towards the CD dramas because it gets weird. The 2021. It gets weird. We'll talk about that after Labramon. So Yeah, you are right. So, things about Labramon. I like that it looks like a dog. It's very basic. You didn't give it punching bags. You didn't add it the coat of another Digimon. It's a dog. Very simple, and it works. I also like the little straps under, which seems to be something indicative they do with Digimon. Um, Things I would change. I would probably make the coat a little more yellow, a little more golden, like a Labrador Retriever. Because as is, the cream with the white center doesn't it's a bit hard to see, and I think you need to differentiate the two a little more. I think the tail, given where it goes with the evolution, but it is not that. Okay, I thought Labramon appeared in Islands of Adventure. um I'm you see it and said you see it and say, yeah, Digimon. um so Labramon, I will say it doesn't read Digimon. Actually, hold on. Let me check that. I'm fairly certain Labramon was in Tamers. Yeah, Labramon was in Tamers. They were in Tamers. They were in the movie, but they were in Tamers. I think you need to make the coat a little more golden because the cream and the white difficult. Um, Given the rescue liqueur, which I think I know what it's referencing, um, I think you need to add that little. You see it in cartoons. It's a Saint Bernard dog with a little barrel on the neck. I would almost say add that to the design to reference that element. As for the ears, I would say either make them a darker color, but I'm not going to say it's a problem. Uh, I'm going to go ahead and say, mm, is it a perfect design? You know what? I'll say for the good boy, it's a perfect design. I like that you did a simple dog. What I don't like is you didn't differentiate between the chest and the rest of the fur. If this was golden fur, I think it would work better. But since it's just cream and white, not really. So, 30 seconds. It's mid. Actually, yeah, I guess you are right. We're going to remove the perfect. Remove the perfect. It's mid. It's an okay design, but it doesn't really do anything better. Thank you, Gridora175. That is a good point. It's mid. It's an okay design, but you could have done more. So, we're going to go back. I'm thinking you shouldn't include the CD drama. It's just unproduced script and not obtained in any media. That's true, but it's clear that that's what Kanaka kind of wants to take the series. To me, that feels like what he wants to do with it. Yeah, I don't think we're getting to Renamon tonight. I think we're going to end with Lalamon, just because it's late, and if we get to Renamon, I kind of want what's his name? I kind of want Renamon 565 to be here. So we're going to go to just Lalamon. So Lalamon. Lalamon was one of the Data Squad characters. It's design wise, it's a very basic, especially this colors, yellow, pink, green, Looks like a little tiny plant. Given the eyes and the mouth, I think it's a reference to one of those statues that they use at burials. I forgot the name. It appears in Animal Crossing. Hold on, I forgot. A vegetation Digimon resembling a flower bud. Lalamon drifts to the sky by skinning the leaves on its head, and despite its lack of expression, it has a great deal of charm. Its special move, Seed Blast, involves shooting hard seeds from its mouth with a surprising degree of accuracy. It also has Lala Screw, where it spins its leaves as fast as it can to slam into an enemy, and Sing a Song, by which it lulls opponents to sleep with a relaxing tune. It's honestly a very basic Digimon. I'm thinking, as a rookie, it's a little too basic. It feels more like an in training, but given it's supposed to be a low-level Digimon, I'm a bit mixed on that. I like that it's simple and basic. You didn't go too in-depth with things. I guess what I don't like is... I think the face. I think the eyes and the mouth, this is a little too simplistic with what you're going with. Because I know Penny from Amazing World of Gumball, good character, and I think that's I get what they're trying to go. But for a rookie, I kind of expect a little more. If the face had more expression, more reference, I know it's supposed to be a bud with not a lot of expressive, but taking that into account and the simplicity, this feels less like a rookie and more like an in-training. And I kind of think with this design, you want to add some more complexity, especially for a rookie. For what this is, it feels a little too simple. That being said, it's not a bad design. And I kind of get the reference they're going with the face. It's a reference to those statues. But I think it's a little too simplistic for the level. Thoughts? And yeah, that is Lalamon. So, given the time and kind of where my throat's going with losing, it's cute. It is a cute Digimon. I don't think it works as a rookie though. Girls like it, I guess. Yeah, you say that, it kind of reminds me more of a Tomodachi. It's an okay Digimon. I think the design is decent, but it's too simplistic for a rookie. Can you check the trailer of Digimon Monsters NetDriver before you leave? Sure. We'll do that real quick. Let me just... We're going to get the trailer up. Well, let's first see the launch trailer and then we'll check the next. So we're gonna check see if there's. So was there another trailer? Because that was the launch trailer. So watching that, I'm actually gonna get back to. So, uh, I like the animations. I think they did it. The artists they had that made that did an amazing job taking the Digimon and having them animated. Um, I would like to see where they go with that because as of late, it looks like it's just a recreation of the original toy, which I have. I think the 20th anniversary. Uh, quick, going from that and the Vita bracelet and this. Um, I haven't checked it on itch.io. I do have Digital Tamer 2, which I actually have on my phone. Um, would you guys want me to go into a quick little rant about the Vita bracelet and the toy? Just to give my opinion on where I think Bandai is with this? Because I do have some opinions on that, if you want to hear that. But Kokua is not in the 20th. That is true. Mine. Would you guys want me to go over some of my problems with Bandai with the Vita bracelets, or would you prefer if we hold it? Yes, please, Toss. Okay, let me go get my Vita bracelet real quick. Oh, okay. So, yeah, might as well go over. So, before I left for the Navy, one of the reviews I wanted to do was on the Digivices, because at the time, no one had done a review of the Digivice, as far as I could tell. What I thought it was a neat toy, especially since I wasn't doing much at my job. My problem with the Digivices was they seemed to be more like they were advertising for adults, and you know, I lucked out because I was just doing the work I did wasn't exactly tough, so it's very easy for me to have this as like a pseudo pass the time thing. But I kind of lucked out. I was a bit of a unique situation on that. I look at kids and I don't see this working at a school because it's going to be loud and a kid has to care for it, and obviously, no teacher is going to let them toy with this. They're just going to tell the kid, "Hey, take it, play with it at home. This is at school. You can't use this here." So it was like, so you can't use it at school. So you can only really use this at like summer or when you're free to, do whatever. I think Digivices like these would make great Christmas gifts or like summer gift. But at the same time, how, that's a seasonal thing. It doesn't really last long. And I didn't know that many people that toyed with this. It's similar with the Chow Garden. I kind of wondered, did anyone have Digivices or Chow and had like small tournaments at school? As far as I can tell, no. That was never a thing. I always wondered if children had any like low grade fighting rings. They didn't, as far as I can tell. Not with Digimon, not with uh, chows. The other issue I didn't like with these is they did a poor job of saying what Digimon was in each Digivice, and I had to go online and use a service to figure out which Digimon were in what. And it didn't help that some Digimon were locked behind, you need to connect it to another Digivice or something. And it's like, I like Dorumon. How do you unlock Dorumon? Well, you got to connect it with a specific Digivice. I didn't know that. He's in here, but I can't unlock him unless I connect him to another. Okay, what about Mekumon? Which was in this one, by the way. You had to do another unlock. Why is it not part of the standard evolution? I don't know. Well, it's supposed to promote people working together. Okay, I get that. You want kids to walk around. Now, overall, I think these are great toys. I think these are a neat little device. I do kind of wish they had a better connectivity to a app. In fact, I actually bought a little device that allowed me to hack these to get what I wanted. It was like $20. They came in from Singapore. I still have it somewhere. I don't know where. This leads me to the Vita bracelet, which I purchased. If you were in the US, I'm putting this for posterity, when you were in the US with the Vita bracelet, the only way to get it outside of Amazon was you had to go to Walmart or Target, and you had to get the bracelet by going in the girls' toy aisle. Why they decided to put this Digimon thing in the toy aisle, in just the girls section, confuses me. Now, it was advertised as Vita Hero, and it was both it kind of advertised as Digimon, but also not Digimon with Pulsemon. But I don't know why Bandai did not tell Walmart and Target, hey, put this someplace where people can get at it. Because they didn't advertise it. There were no advertisements. That's mostly because of the store. It is. But here's the thing about stores. Whenever a company sells their product to the store, they generally tell the store, place the product in this area because it's classified as this. Bandai did, as far as I can tell, Bandai did nothing to really advertise, hey, put the Vita bracelet in this section or this toy section. They didn't. It was sold in the girls' toy aisle. Which, who's going to look for a pedometer in the girls' toy aisle? They didn't advertise it. They didn't really advertise it in the US. There wasn't commercials. Certainly wasn't any commercials on television. There were no commercials on YouTube. They were not selling the Vita bracelet on YouTube, as far as I can tell. And the little SD chips, I only learned this later, but apparently there was a version of the Vita bracelet, not only with Pulsemon, but with the DC heroes and villains. That was quickly discontinued, as far as I can tell. I have not seen it anywhere else. That applies to all stores. Yeah, but like I said, that's true. The company still has to convey to the store, hey, this is what this product is. We need you to place it in a specific place. And Walmart and Target, as far as I can tell, did not do that. I saw some ads on YouTube about DC DIMs. I'm assuming that it looks like the algorithm is not advertising them to me. But as for the Vita bracelet, this one was the Gamamon version, which, as far as I can tell, is the is like the basic version to get. And yeah, Gamamon. Heroes and Villains long time ago. Yeah. I didn't see that advertised at Walmart or Target. I didn't see that advertised online. Granted, at the time I was like 25, so the algorithm probably said, oh yeah, he's old. Advertise Warhammer to him. Which I like Warhammer, but I don't like some of the things they're doing. That's another time. So, by the time I wanted to get the VB bracelet, they weren't really selling it in Walmart and Target. Or if they were, I couldn't find it. But I wanted Dorumon. But you can't use the VB. You have to get the BE to use the chips properly. So that means going on eBay or alternatively shop.com and going to, what was that shop called? What was that shop called? They're still in operation. They sell a lot of anime merch. Zen Market? Let me check. No, it wasn't Zen Market. Bamboo Labs. Point is, to get the Vita bracelet that worked, you had to import it from Japan, and it cost roughly $100 US. Now, $100 US. That's quite a bit of money. That's actually quite a good chunk of change. And when I got the device, it was one of the, I was expecting, well, it's a Fitbit. It's a smartwatch. It's got some smart functionality. It has to. It's $100. It's one of the cheapest put together toys I have encountered from the electronics market. It's an exercise bit. It's a pedometer, but it doesn't look at heart rate. It doesn't. It's very basic in what it's doing. It can connect to your phone, which helped me realize which helped me learn that phones have RFID chips in them. But the construction is finicky. The design seems to have been made that it's a toy, which, okay, I should have realized it's a toy. It's a Digimon toy. But for $100 to import this in, now this is probably about $50 in Japan, but for $100, and I'm getting this pedometer with a little tiny Digimon in them that I can care for. But the only really way to care for it is walking around and do push-ups. Yeah, it convinces me to exercise because I want my Digimon to reach the best, so I have to reach the best. But it seemed like it was... It seemed like it was pretty poorly thought out. And then it's like, well, what Digimon you want? And unless you're getting the Digimon that were on the Digivices, you're ending up having to pay by collector's things. Like, if you wanted Logomon, you either had to get the Logomon Vita Bracelet, which was limited edition, very hard to find, or you had to get the Logomon replacement bands, which are expensive. So if you wanted Logomon, get ready to send out about, I think, like $100. Remember, this is like $100 for a pedometer. And it's like, okay, so this is for kids. You do have the fighting mechanic with the app, which is a neat idea. I think for any virtual pet toy, you need that app integration. But the app was finicky. No one was really doing the tournaments anymore, and they did a big thing of it's basically only in Japanese. Well, I say that it was in English. There were English. It was poorly optimized. And then they discontinued it. It was like, so for 2 years they kept this going. They advertised it heavily, and then they just throw it onto the bus. Meanwhile, you have some fan on itch.io offering an app, a virtual pet app, pretty much for free, but you can pay for it. And you can put it on your phone or on your desktop. And I look at these companies, and you clearly recognize the importance of smartphones. I know that because you made the app, you made this connect to your app, and you had connectivity, and you were smart enough to add it that you can have this play with offline. So you recognize the importance of that. But you didn't notice the importance of making this a decent product, a decent toy. And you didn't really add any, and you made the app bare bones and problematic. And like, I could do so much more with these. But I don't know, if I were to be Bandai with this, for one, I would properly sell it in the US, properly sell it in Europe, properly sell it in South America, actually sell these, not just release one version and then one and done and go away. No. Keep these going in foreign markets. Get that capital in. Make an app that properly works with your IP, and build upon it. And this isn't just the toy. Seekers. Everyone saw Seekers and saw these live action trailers. They saw these live action trailers, their stories, and they're thinking, whoa, we're getting a reality television show of Digimon that's live action. This is amazing. And then it's just a light novel. You must know that Bandai didn't expect this to blow up. They thought it would be a good idea to make DIMs for other franchises, and that exploded because the mechanic was for Digimon. I know they made one for My Hero and Kamen Rider, but you got someone at that company must have realized, hey, virtual thing could have worked, but no, they took many bad decisions. The novel Machine Translated was a bust. I know. They advertised it like it was a live action show, but no, it's a novel, and from what I gather, it was a pretty poorly done novel, even in the original. Um, even the original story. And I don't know. It's impressive that Digimon has lasted this long. It's impressive we have something like the reference manual that's a thing. It's impressive that we've had Survive. We have all these games. We have all this stuff. But no, they advertised for the novel. Barely. They very barely not advertised that novel. They gave it that live action trailer, and I think a lot of people thought, yeah, oh, the VB do the same with the live action trailers. Yeah, but like I said, the Vita bracelet, I had to import this. They didn't sell it. They didn't really sell it. The novel, you see the trailer and you think it's some amazing live action show, and no, it's a novel that's machine translated that they didn't pay any really much attention to. And same with Survive. I know people say that it was advertised as a light novel, as a not a light novel, as a they had advertised it as a I forgot what they call it. But people look at the trailer and they think, "Oh, it's a tactical RPG." And then people are wondering, "Well, why did Digimon Survive do so poorly?" It's really because of Toei. They have a great concept. They have a great franchise, and they do these rookie missteps. And now I will say missteps slowly grow up. You can't get a TCG anime because Toei has the rights over animation. I'll get to that. It's these missteps. You learn things. As for the TCG, I have friends that run card shops. I have two. And they have had problems with Bandai because Bandai, for whatever reason, does not really supply the cards. They'll order them, they won't really get many. And it's gotten to the point that one of the shops has said, we're discontinuing. We're not even supporting this game because we're not getting orders. As for Toei with the rights, if Toei didn't cancel Ghost games, Seekers wouldn't exist. That is true. But that is true. I can't say but. TCG anime. That being said, I don't know if they should do a TCG anime. It's been years since Yu-Gi-Oh was the anime was big. So I think the era of card game anime may have passed. I could be wrong. I would love to see what they would do with a Digimon TCG anime, but I don't make those decisions. As for Seekers, I guess we'll see. Hopefully Toei and Bandai are going to learn. Hopefully Bandai will figure out where to properly do their show, where to properly do the franchise. Because things like this aren't going to help it. It's going to hinder it. Something like these, if properly utilized, could work. Same with the game. Yeah, some TCG has anime, decide if it's popular or not. That being said, an anime is a good ad for the cards. This is true. I think most people know more about Yu-Gi-Oh! From the got into the card game Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of the anime. That being said, they may also think, well, is Digimon a card game? Is this something we want to promote? Because do we want to move it towards it being card? I don't know. it will be interesting to see where Digimon is going. I know they did that 25th anniversary concert to basically say thank you, Koji Wada, for the music. And Discotek has shown they want to do more of the show, more of the movies, so hopefully little things like that will lead to more things and greater things. And I will say about the TCG, you have a card game about digital monsters, you don't have a digital thing. You don't have a digital app for the card game. I know there's a tutorial, I've played it, it's okay. But I think that's enough ranting for now, unless there's something more you want to talk about. But right now I think we're going to be going with this. You know, we've been at this for almost 4 hours. I kind of need to save my throat. My plan for this, probably in another 2 weeks, seeing where things go. I don't make any promises. Something that also has to take note is that Toei is a parasite for Bandai, because Toei still gets little royalties, royalties from things that they didn't do, like the TCG. That's how business goes. That's how things go. But yeah. So move for the future. Probably in 2 weeks we'll be doing another look at these. Hopefully we can get to Renamon. I do want to get to that point. Hard to say. I'm actually doing better this time than last time. As for future streams, depending on how things go, I may try to stream other things. As for reviews, End War is coming. It's still in the recording process. I don't know when it will come out. It may take a bit because time. And hopefully I can get to the Discotek Digimon movies. So yeah, hopefully things will do well. So like and subscribe and comment, share around. You have my... Oh, no. Let me get my blue sky. Bye, everyone. Great video. Yeah, this was a very good video, and hopefully we can do more. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and remember to follow me on Blue Sky for updates. Keep in touch here, and hopefully we can go towards more of the rookies and continue through this massive reference manual. Well, see you all next time.